Scavorith, Lord of Ruin. Yeah, I just love seeing how it's just like all these shells.
I'm it's a lot of bullets.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna get over the fact that the first time we were introduced to this character, they did that whole 3D
like 3D projection of it.
Yeah,
oh
you remember
gosh.
that?
Oh
projection,
yeah, AoA.
the real life projection, towering over the actor for Hector Zeroni.
That was one thing that hurt the most when that campaign failed. I'm just like, we'll never get to see it. And then
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. We got the Scavorith was a big hype piece for the crowdfund. Everybody was super excited.
Look at that thing.
There was just so much hype behind this
giant centipede gun wielding item of death.
And now, now Scavorith is available. Pre-orders. It's just,
and you can just purchase it. It's no promo. It's just buy it.
Because here's the crazy part. Like, and I'm not, and obviously I don't like comparing. I'm not that type. I don't like that vibe. But you got to take into consideration the only people that would have had a chance to get Scavorith if the crowdfund had succeeded would have been the ones that crowdfunded.
Sure.
All right. So that let's just shoot a number, right? Maybe 200, 300 people. I don't know. No, that's not the right number. I can't even remember the number. But the thing is, the number would have been limited, right? There would have been a small amount of individuals who would have had this miniature if the crowdfund had succeeded. But because that didn't succeed, now everybody gets a chance to get Scavorith. You see, there's like it may be a little bit of a stretch, but I find that to be a better option. Now everybody gets to get Scavorith, and it's just I like that a lot.
Yeah,
and I feel it feels better that way. Because it's like that would have sucked to be like, oh, here's my Scavorith Lord of Ruin. They're like, where do you get that? Oh, did you back the crowdfund? No.
Did you spend $400?
Yeah, it's just like you don't get
two big boxes. Come on, how dare you?
And it's just I get it. No, like it wasn't even Avalon Hill's fault, right? That was a requirement.
Right.
As part of the crowdfund expectation, like the rules of a crowdfund was to have an exclusive. They designed that as part of the rule. But I don't know. I just feel really good that we can now offer this to everybody instead of just a handful of people who had money at the time.
Oh yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah, it's just this guy deserves to be in everybody's hand. This is a character that deserves to be played.
If it fit in your hands, you might need both hands.
If you're like I don't want to limit this character from anybody. So it's nice. It's nice to be able to expect to see this character multiple places, not just the exclusivity of it. I'm not gonna lie. This was one of the very first. Oh, that's not the word. I'm not. When I went to Gen Con, when I got to go to Gen Con, and I spoke to Chris and Carmine about the crowdfund, this miniature was the thing on my mind. I was like, "Where is he?" Like, I was like, "Tell me where Scavorith is."
I want to see him.
And all he told me was like, "I sent all the STLs to Renegade," and I was like, "All of them?" And that's all I needed. So yeah, no, it's just again very nice to see this character out and option available to all players, and not just the ones that would have had a chance to back the crowdfund. As awesome as that would have been, again, I think it's cooler that everyone gets this guy versus a handful. So, personal thoughts.
Yeah. Sierra, looking at chat. Okay, Inventive Heart says, I had thought this guy was one of them new bugs.
Oh yeah.
Pretty sick that he's Isonet. Yeah, Score
Dyer. He is Isonet.
Yeah, Isonet.
Different planet. Yeah.
Hey Derek. Derek's Hobby's interested in life moment saying, "Hey guys, good evening to you both." Good evening to you, Derek. It says when he arrives in August, Scavorith will be the coolest sculpt out of the game. Definitely contender.
Scavorith is going to be really easy to draw. So one of my favorite things when I demo Heroscape and set tables up is like, what's the most eye-catching piece I can put on the table to get someone to walk up and want to play Heroscape? But getting Scavorith for that reason, just to put him there and be like, "Hey, come play Heroscape."
I mean, he's a huge 9, so he's about going to be as tall as Imperator Kane, basically. So You think it'd be more towering?
They can look at each other. They're gonna look at each other in the eyes and be like, "How are we as tall as each other?"
Bill Flint. I was gonna actually mention that in a moment, but first, I want to, because I noticed that too. But first, I want to read the lore. Let's read the lore first, and then we'll get into that. All right, here we go. In the days after the shattering, embers were all that remained, and yet in embers there is still precious heat. Veins of crystallized saline, that word, clung to fragments.
We did read this in a good order, so yeah, I like that.
Of the planet's mantle. And so the blessed extraction continued. Scavorith was ordained Lord of the Remnants. For out of the Iron Lich's legions, who else had so faithfully enforced Viscerat's decrees? Survivors who ventured into the debris field in search of silene crystals had scarcely minutes to act before Scavorith arrived. Sharp metal legs surging across the drifting stone. His dual scatterguns spat brimstone, the sensors that had replaced his eyes registering each impact of bursting blood and metal with glee. He staked what remained of the trespassers on metal spines, until the asteroids bristled with grim markers of Scavorith's territory. The silene flowed again, and with it countless Wraith Riders were sustained while they searched the remnants for untapped deposits. With it, the sacred Hellforges were fed, and the terror and the behemoth of the bloodthirst leapt into the stars in search of new worlds to harvest. With it, the Iron Lich kept his laboratory alive as he searched for the missing equation. The one that would fuel exponential Isonek expansion for all eternity. But embers at last go out. When the last known silene seam ran dry, the unfaithful demanded their dues from the stockpile. Scavorith decorated its store with their metal skulls, dedicated all that remained to Viscerat's laboratory, and sealed himself inside. Viscerat would find the answer, the continuation, the new life. Their master had not guided their transcendent rise, only to falter now. Scavorith waited until the screams outside gave way to silence, and the silence to hunger, and the hunger to darkness. When Scavorith awoke, it was to Iron Lich Viscerat, alive and well, to a world bursting with life and precious resources, to an army of Isonek warriors, stolen from death's clutches and renewed. The fire of Isonek industry blazes again to life on Valhalla, and the Valkyrie Revna and the Iron Lich alike have only one commandment for Scavorith: begin your work anew. Now, yeah, that's a lot. That's like it's in a sense it's a very sad story,
right?
Because I feel like I'm reading like the end of the life cycle of a planet, of what was once an industry. So it is my thoughts that the Vorid, whatever planet, what planet were the Vorid on?
This is Noxdorma.
Noxdorma. I feel like Noxdorma, like when the Vorid, are starting to get the silene from the planet, and causing their planet to industrialize. This is like the beginning, middle part of Noxdorma, and then the Isoneks are what causes Noxdorma to be destroyed. In a sense, I feel like it's been hinted at, but that's why I feel like where this is going. But wherever the Isoneks came from, it seems like they're interplanetary not scavengers, ravengers. I think the closest thing I can think of is like the aliens from Independence Day, movie back in the 90s. And I'm not talking about the newer one that happened like some 10 years ago. I'm talking about like the 90s blockbuster.
I gotcha.
The similar similar type of hunger for resources, and then you move on. And it seems like these Isonex got hunger for silene and just basically ripped the planet apart from it. But at the same time, it was hunger that could not be kept, and they eventually killed themselves because that resource like dried up on them, and essentially killed them. But as we know, with Revna doesn't care whether you're alive or dead. Actually, most likely prefers you dead so she can get you on her side. Tricky Valkyrie. Let's see here. And so this is one thing before we get into that part of the lore, though. Flesh abs. Yeah, I was noticing. So, what is Scavorith actually? I don't think Scavorith started out as
Scavorith is an Isonit. That is.
Yeah, like what are ice in it? Because there's flesh parts to them. I noticed that like in any Molgicea, with the exception of maybe the Hellforge, there's flesh parts on them. Actually, no, with the Hellforge, there's flesh parts too. It's on the very top, I think. It's just like little skinny arms, on the tarp. So these are once like flesh and some type of blood type creatures that totally mechanize themselves. Near totally. From what I can see.
You are on you. So here's the thing, right? As mentioned, right? These bios are snapshots, right? They're giving you because a really good thing to think about as well is like, with the Valkyrie, when they drink the waters of the wellspring, they get images of these wars, of these conflicts that are happening, right? They have no context whatsoever what's going on. They just know that these people need like they're in war, they're in conflict, and they have the option now to intervene and pull these people out of the war and then bring them to Valhalla, right? So this same story is happening here with these bios, right? You, the audience, are now getting snapshots into the history of Nox Dorma. Now, when it happens, that's part of the mystery, right? That's what you're learning now. You're giving you opportunities to learn over time these different situations, like where the Vord come from, how their society was happening at the time they were summoned, where the Icenik are coming from. Now you're seeing these connecting elements, right? We've already talked about silene, right? Mentioned in both bios. It's on with purpose. That's intention. But if it's not mentioned in the bio,
all I can do is guess.
Like more stuff, and
give an educated guess.
The bios have always been a source of inspiration, right? Because if you think about it, even the classic ones would be like a couple sentences long, but it would drop these really cool names, and then you would always be wondering, all right, what's there? What is in this place? And then before long, if you were a kid like me, you were filling those places up with all sorts of, right? You were filling those places up with all sorts of, and it's the same experience, right? You're getting you're getting snapshots into different parts of this planet's history, right? And if you're starting to develop questions like, oh, why do they have flesh? Why do they seem like there's something like that? Write it down. Keep that in mind, right? Because that's the kind of stuff. Those are the questions we want people to ask. People to like think about, ponder, hold on to that, find those answers as this story continues time. Because, like, again, that's just how Wellsprings work. Sadly, you're only going to be able to get snapshots, so that's Wellspring water for you. But yeah, you will, all those little things that you're noticing, it's awesome. Like that's good, right? We want people to be able to catch on to those things, and then over time, those things get like expounded upon, explanation from there, right?
Well, I hope we don't get held
in.
in the dark like we had for some Heroscape lore for like almost 20 years, you know. So
Well, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. The Heroscape lore 20 years ago, right? That was like they didn't have a lore council. First of all, I'll tell you that much.
sure.
Right? They had Craig, who bless his heart, we love Craig, but Craig did all that by himself, and he was like, "Not my cup of tea." He literally says it. He says it all the time. He's like, "I'm not a writer, but I have to do this," and he would do it, and he's like, "Ugh." He didn't like his own writing. He was like, ugh. So. We had that, and then he immediately hires Colby because he's like, okay, I can't do this anymore. Colby, please help. And then Colby starts writing. You can literally see the shift as soon as Colby joins the team, right? But it was also just one other person, right? So it was like one person. Here at Renegade, there's 6 of us working on it.
That's nice.
I promise you, that stuff's gonna get answered. All that stuff's like all your little questions. We want you to get those questions, write them down, keep them in your heads, get pondering, right? Because that's the fun. That's the fun part of lore. That's the fun part of the story being told, right? But there's a lore council, so no, we won't have 20-year-old gaps. I promise. Like that's not a.
Well, I hope not. Fingers
Right.
crossed,
It's like, look. Let's see, right?
It all ends tomorrow. It was just a dream.
I'll be about 60. I'll be about 60 or so, right? If I'm still around at 60, I'll see what I can do about the next lore dump. But no, I won't do that to y'all. But no worries. Trust me. We encourage the questions. We encourage the what's the word? Search for answers. Keep that going because that is always what I think is the really cool of why lore exists. But if you don't see an answer to your question, please look forward to it. So that is it's a living story. Things will be told over time. So,
like Miss Frizzle used to say, you keep on asking questions, you'll keep on getting answers, but it just depends on when those answers are going to show up. All right.
Let's go. Magic School was reference.
Yeah, heck yeah. I grew up on that stuff. Okay. Revna.
Hey, me too.
Reading the card. Revna, Scavorith, Lord of Ruin. Isonek, Unique Hero, Marauder, Menacing, Huge Knight. Life of 7.
And you mentioned Ravager, so Marauder is really on point with that one.
Yep. Life of 7, move of 5, range of 1, attack of 5, defense of 4, 185 points. The 2 special abilities of this hulking big centipede: double burst special attack, range 4, attack 3. When Scavorith, Lord of Ruin, attacks with a double burst special attack, he may attack 1 additional time, targeting the same or different figures with each attack. So there you go. It's the one special attack that's got range, which isn't. It's not terrible. Battle Surge,
terrible, but
yeah,
I've been a little wary about these double attack range hits because Anshu. Oh my goodness! I was like, Anshu Sonic Blast special attack you only roll 2 dice twice, right? And I'm like, that's nothing. The amount of times Anshu's rolled 2 skulls.
Yep.
I'm like, hold on. So yeah, this is 2 attacks of 3, right? At range 4. With my experience with Anshu, that kind of gives me a little scare. I'm like, wait. So I don't know. I don't know if it's like super good, but it's like that does have a bit of an effect because Anshu's killed some people with Sonic Blast, and I'm just like, maybe low dice rolls aren't as bad as I think they are.
And question about double burst as well. Can you do is this special attack take the place of a normal attack, or can you do both? Doesn't specifically say.
Yeah, so I think this is core rule based, so it's like because you're doing special attack, it replaces your more.
Gotcha. Okay, and I figured that was
whenever you see the word special attack, you're activating that instead of your.
Gotcha. All right. Battle Surge. After taking a turn with Scavorith, you may reveal an X order marker on its army card and take 1 additional
X order marker
turn.
Power.
There you go.
In Contemporary.
You cannot use double burst special attack during this additional turn. So you could use double burst special attack And then, if you got an X order marker on this guy, because why not? There's no other use for it. You can reveal that order marker.
What's that?
You cannot. Well, no, I'm saying if you use it the first time.
Okay.
If you use it the first time
during the next turn.
This additional turn. So you could do a double burst and then move forward again, and then just melee whatever enemy is left over.
With an attack of 5.
Yep, with attack of 5. So you have potential in potentially 2 turns, but 1 turn. You just turn 2 turns into 1. The potential to range and then melee your second time around to totally finish an enemy off, which is pretty nice.
Yeah.
Pretty nice.
You do have to be careful because it is a life-based resource. So
right.
I would use your battle surges.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
Like,
if Scavorith
life
does
7,
not attack,
life 6, life 5. Don't use it if you have life 2.
Well,
like.
But this is an important thing. If Scavorith does not attack a figure during the additional turn, Scavorith suffers 1 wound. So it's not a guaranteed 1 wound.
Okay.
You have to attack somebody, which if you're not using Battle Surge, why wouldn't you attack somebody? Then I recommend not using it just to move 5 more spaces. That makes no sense. And I think that's one of the reasons why.
Don't use it as a move buff.
Right. And I think they have that on there to make sure it's not used as a wound buff or move buff. So that's really good thinking on their part to use it. So
it's definitely meant for hitting.
Yeah.
An extra hit. Yeah.
Which is great. It's just basically an all around huge. Not wait then fire. It's fire then charge and hit some more.
Fire
and just use them guns just to slam down on someone's head basically. And Bill Flint said sounds nasty with Iron Lich's Viscerot's Ironclad puppeteer power. Yeah,
I do believe they are meant to pair together.
Yeah. So the Isonek army, unique squad army is going to be fun to use. It's going to be like a fun matchup. Isonex against Void, actually.
Fun matchup. That's what I should do. I should do that.
Oh, yeah,
my friend wants to play the Void. I should get the Isonex.
Yep.
And it'll be that the Isonex will be my answer to his Void army. That'd be funny.
Isonex are a huge surprise for me. They seem actually like a very gelled army that you got to put together, and it's great because sometimes not all the points are going to add up. You're going to have to pick and choose who you want, who would be who would be best matched with Islanders, because you got Scavorith, you also have Hellforge, so you got to decide, okay, for this particular battle, what am I going to use, and what makes more sense. I can't wait. I hope sometime down the line we get some Isonex common squads. I'm not saying anything, asking you any question. I'm just saying I'm hoping that that eventually we get Isonex common squads. That'd be great to add into the synergies of these guys as well. But yeah, I just love Scavorith. I mean, like I said, the crabs are my favorite, but this is the one everybody's been waiting for. This is the one everybody's been waiting for. So, and it's not disappointing.
And again, yeah, this was when I went to ask and Carmine about the minis, I was like, okay, can you explain to me what just happened? Because I remember the original announcement when Renegade announced in June that the license had been acquired. I was like, okay, hey, can you tell us what's going on? And then Carmine, here's the thing, shout out to Carmine again. I really I respect Chris. Mm-hmm. All the work he did, all the effort he put into this game, because I remember when that first announcement came out, and I DM'd him. I asked him, "Hey, did you do this?" Not in an accusatory way, but I was just like, "You said." I remember he said in the Avalon Hill Discord he was ready for a second chance. Mm-hmm. Try again for Heroscape, and I was like when they made that announcement, I messaged him. I was like, was that thing you said? And he's like, "I told you," and I was like, "Bro," So that was his last hurrah.
Yeah.
You gotta remember this big thing. I know a lot of people. There's a lot of that the vibe is not all there, but this Renegade push was Chris's last hurrah for the project, and now we get to see these minis. We've been waiting 3 years for these. They're now on the stores. People are playing them. I'm stoked. I'm so excited, and definitely this guy, because this guy was one of the main reasons I was like, "Where is he? Please tell me he's not gone forever." And he's not. Now I
No,
get a
he's
chance to
not.
play Scavorith. So
Can't wait.
it's it's so cool. I'm so excited.
Good fun addition for an Icenic army, and I can't wait to see what other
Robot Centipede.
army builds he can be used for too in the future. Right. Hopefully there'll be a variety. But yeah, so that is taking a look at Scavorith, Lord of Ruin. A little bit more insight into the. I call it the
blessed extraction continues.
Yeah, the Silene storyline basically. Yep. So can't wait to get them and paint them and play them for sure.